We're on Red Lion Street in WC1, High Holborn, to talk about the Red Lion Public House. Now, for me to help emphasise why this public house is so important, I have to quickly explain the so-called English Civil War. Despite there being loads of civil wars in the Isles of Britain, for some reason the Civil War of the 17th century is called the Civil War, as if it was the be-all and end-all. In a way it almost was, because it saw the beheading of the monarch and England becoming a republic for the first time, which it's never really recovered from. The allegation from this public house is that Cromwell's body was kept here a few days before it was disemboweled elsewhere. If this is true, it's a nice part of the history to remind us of the backlash that came after the Civil War, but we always have to take things with a pinch of salt, because there's various stories about what happened to Cromwell after his death, such as him hanging outside Parliament and so on. So come with me, let's just have a quick look at this establishment. So for a short time, Cromwell's son would become Lord Protectorate until the Restoration. Charles II stayed in Restoration House in Rochester in Kent before going on to be crowned in Westminster, therefore returning the Stuarts to the throne, but it was a very plastic throne. Come with me. And here we have a reference, and once again we have to bear in mind we take everything with a pinch of salt. It would be nice to believe stories like this are true, maybe they are, but not all of the dates always match up to some of the claims that are made around such tales. Lord Protector and Lieutenant General. Now, this is an incredibly ironic title for someone like Cromwell. He was very much against the autocratic nature of the monarch, but then took on an authoritarian nature as the, quote, Lord Protectorate, the Lord Protector and Lieutenant General, which is completely polar opposite to the piety which he would have once betrayed. After all, this is the man that banned everything from music to Christmas. He basically banned fun and made the place a complete nightmare, and was responsible for many of the wars that go on between many of the ethnic tribes of the British Isles and Europe today. To be honest, Cromwell is just attributed to being one of the main names. The likes of John Pym, Fairfax, many others had a huge part to play in this, but we're going to keep it simplistic, and I'll stick to Cromwell because he's the most famously known name. But his war against the Catholic Church, just like his piety for the C of E, was certainly more financial and political than he would have ever had one believe, especially since when Charles asked for the royal possessions to be taken back off him, many cartloads of jewels were taken off this man, who was supposed to be very pious and very much against idolatry and so on. So Lord Protector and Lieutenant General Oliver Cromwell's body lay in the cellar of these premises for several days prior to disembowelment in September 1658. And I believe it's a chronic shame that he wasn't alive to experience the same thing that he had put so many innocent people through.
The Old Red Lion is a historically significant building in the UK because the disinterred corpse of Cromwell was kept here, soon to be dismembered and paraded across London as a humiliation ritual against the usurpers and assassins of the monarchy during the reign of Charles I. Of course, Cromwell assassinated Charles I, and so Charles II, likely due to the desire for both retributive justice against his father's assassination and the usurpation of the throne by Cromwell, as well as the willingness and necessity of, after a former monarch has been usurped and assassinated, to instill a sense of hierarchy, identity, power structure in the general population that the monarchy was back. The most important matter of it all, though, is that the humiliation ritual of Cromwell to be disinterred and dismembered and paraded across London was seen as a proportionate, justified necessity due to the fact that he had both usurped as well as assassinated the former monarch. Thank you very much for listening. Till next time.